Have you ever found yourself staring at someone who plays by their own crooked rules, watching them climb the ladder of success, while you are left working your fingers to the bone, trying to do the right thing? You strive for excellence, you hold on to your integrity, and you stay dedicated to your path. Yet, the person who cuts corners, bends the truth, and steps on others to get ahead seems to be thriving effortlessly. It feels completely backwards, doesn't it? It feels like the deck is stacked against those who choose to be honest. In this video, we are going to pull back the curtain on why this happens, and I promise you, the truth behind it will change how you view your own journey. Many of us who walk in faith find ourselves wrestling with a quiet, gnawing frustration. We look at the person who cheats to close a big deal, the coworker who lies to get a promotion, or the neighbor who lives lavishly without a single moral compass, and we start to wonder, is honesty actually a handicap? Is it worth being righteous if the reward feels non-existent? This is a dangerous trap, a subtle snare designed to pull you away from the truth and make you doubt the very foundation of your trust in God. The reality is that we are trapped in a short-sighted perspective. We are looking at the surface-level results of a moment, while God is looking at the entire story from start to finish. We need His wisdom to realize that not every form of prosperity is a blessing, and the fact that God seems silent does not mean He is inactive. Our frustration is valid, but it is not the end of the story. In the following sections, we will explore the key to overcoming this bitterness and finding a peace that the world simply cannot understand. If you have ever felt like your integrity was holding you back, stay with me, because we are about to unpack a perspective that will set you free. Lesson 1. The anchor of faith. When the world feels like it is spinning out of control and you see people thriving through dishonesty, it is easy to let your spirit become restless. Your heart starts racing with questions, your mind fills with doubts, and suddenly, you are spiraling. This is exactly where the wisdom of the Scriptures steps in to pull you back to solid ground. In Psalm 37:7, we are given a powerful instruction. Be still before the Lord and wait patiently for Him. Do not fret when people succeed in their ways, when they carry out their wicked schemes. Now let us be clear about what being still actually means. It is not about being passive or ignoring the reality of what is happening around you. It is a deliberate, internal choice to quiet your soul. It is the act of silencing that loud, anxious voice inside you that demands justice right now. When you choose to be still, you are effectively telling your spirit that you trust the one who sits on the throne, more than you trust the temporary chaos you see with your own eyes. Think of it like this. If you are in a storm, you do not throw your compass overboard just because the waves are high. You hold on to it even tighter. Being still is your spiritual compass. It is an invitation to stop comparing your timeline to someone else's. When you fret, you are giving away your peace, your joy, and your focus. You are letting the temporary success of others dictate your emotional state. But when you wait patiently, you are anchoring yourself in the truth that God is the final judge. He is in control of the clock, and He is the one who determines the outcome. Whoever puts their full trust in Him will never be put to shame. So the next time you feel that surge of envy or anger, remember, your stillness is not weakness. It is your greatest act of faith. It is your way of saying that you are waiting for His perfect timing, not your own. Lesson 2. Lessons from history. It is easy to think that the people who seem to have it all today are invincible. But history tells a much different story. If you look back through the pages of the Bible, you will see that this struggle is as old as time itself. Take Pharaoh, the ruler of Egypt, for instance. He lived in the lap of luxury, surrounded by immense wealth and an army that seemed unstoppable. To the average observer, he was the definition of success. Yet, His own arrogance and stubborn pride turned his perceived power into his greatest downfall. His life was not a blueprint for success, but a stage for the world to see that no human power can stand against the divine order. Then consider the story of Haman, a high-ranking official in the Persian Empire, a man who had climbed to the very top. He had the position, the gold, and the influence to command anyone he pleased. He felt so secure in his status that he began to plot against those who stood in his way. But he failed to realize that his prosperity was merely a trap. In the end, he was caught in the very same snare he had set for others. His pride did not build a legacy. It built the gallows that brought his own ruin. And we cannot forget Nebuchadnezzar, the mighty king of the Babylonian Empire. He ruled over one of the most powerful civilizations in history, and he truly believed that his own hands had built it all. He became so blinded by his own grandeur that he forgot who actually holds the reins of history. He was eventually humbled to the point of living like a wild animal, stripped of his crown and his pride, until he finally acknowledged that the Most High is the one who truly rules over every kingdom. These are not just old stories or dusty accounts, they are eternal warnings. They teach us that the prosperity of the wicked is often a fragile thing, like a house built on sand. It might look impressive from the outside, but it lacks the foundation to stand the test of time. When you see someone rising to the top through injustice, remind yourself that you are only seeing a small piece of the puzzle. Their end is not written in their current success, but in the inevitable consequences of their choices. Keeping this historical perspective helps you stop envying their temporary gains and start focusing on the lasting, firm foundation that only comes from walking in truth. Before we move on to how this affects your own heart, if you are finding these reminders helpful, please consider subscribing to my channel. It helps us continue to share these truths. And if you truly believe in the fairness of the Creator, leave a comment saying, "I trust in God's justice." Lesson 3. The hidden cost of envy. Now, you might be thinking, what is the big deal if I just get a little angry or jealous? The truth is, letting your heart dwell on the success of the wicked is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to get sick. It carries a heavy, hidden cost to your own life. When you let envy take root, it does not just steal your peace, it blinds you. You stop seeing the blessings that are right in front of you because you are too busy looking over the fence at someone else's life. This constant comparison creates a deep, lingering resentment that slowly eats away at your joy and distracts you from your own purpose. Think about it. Every minute you spend obsessing over why someone else is getting ahead unfairly is a minute you are not. Investing in your own growth or your own relationship with God. It weakens your testimony. When people look at you, they should see a person whose hope is anchored in something much deeper than temporary worldly status. But if your heart is filled with bitterness, that doubt leaks out into your actions, your words, and your attitude toward others. It pushes people away from the very faith you are trying to live out. Beyond that, this mindset can lead you into a dangerous trap. You start to justify little compromises, thinking, if they can get away with it and prosper, why shouldn't I? You begin to lower your standards, not realizing that you are trading your long-term peace for a short-term gain that will never satisfy. It increases your anxiety because you are constantly in a state of tension, measuring your worth against a standard that is deceptive and fleeting. You lose your eternal perspective. You forget that the true reward is not the paycheck or the title, but the life you are building with God. Envy effectively blinds you to the gratitude you should have for the path you are on. It is time to stop letting the success of others dictate your internal climate. Your journey is unique, and your reward is not of this world. Lesson 4. Practical steps to peace. So, how do you actually live in peace when the world around you seems to reward the wrong people? It is not about turning a blind eye to reality or pretending that injustice does not exist. It is about shifting your focus. You need to anchor your soul in spiritual discipline. First, practice the art of waiting. When you feel that surge of frustration, stop. Take a breath and remind yourself that you are not in charge of the clock, but God is. Do not let your inner peace be held hostage by someone else's behavior. Instead, commit your way to the Lord and trust that He will bring everything to light in His own time. Second, cultivate a heart of gratitude. Envy is a thief. It steals your ability to see the good things you already have. Make it a habit to list your blessings, no matter how small they seem. When you are grateful for what you have, there is no room for the bitterness of comparison. Third, keep the conversation with God constant. Prayer is not just a morning ritual, it is a lifeline. Pour out your frustrations, your doubts, and your worries to Him. When you surrender your need for immediate revenge or validation to Him, you free your spirit to walk in true freedom. Fourth, stay grounded in the Word. Study the teachings that remind you of the bigger picture. When you meditate on the truth, you start to see the world through a lens of eternity rather than temporary gain. Remember, as the scriptures say, the prosperity of the wicked is like grass. It might grow quickly in the sun, but it withers just as fast. True, lasting blessing comes from a life rooted in obedience. Finally, surround yourself with people who keep you focused on the right things. Find friends who walk in integrity and who will encourage you to keep your eyes on the finish line. You are like a tree planted by streams of water, meant to be firm and fruitful, regardless of what is happening around you. Do not measure your success by the world's standard. Measure it by your relationship with the Creator, by the peace that guards your heart, and by the trust you place in His perfect justice. Are you ready to stop watching the clock of others and start trusting in His timing? If this message has spoken to your heart, leave a comment below saying, "I trust in your justice, my God." And if you want to keep strengthening your faith, make sure to subscribe to this channel for more encouragement on your journey. Stay faithful, stay patient, and keep your eyes on eternity.